Welcome to the No Mercy Business Coaching Podcast with Emily A. Woodruff, the podcast that walks you through managing your own small business through the highs and the lows. We'll talk with small business owners from all over the U.S. and share insights on how to help manage your business without the extra fluff and connect with other women just like you. Let's dive in. Well, hello. Thank you so much for joining me for another week at the No Mercy Business Podcast. This is your host, Emily A. Woodruff, and I have another special guest with us this week, Rainee Signor. She's going to tell you a little bit about her brand.
Hello. I am a brand designer. I mainly focus on complete brands that tell unique stories. Sorry, my cat is trying to jump on things. Every business has a unique story, whether you know what yours is or not. If you think you're boring or generic, you're really not. Everybody has a unique perspective, and I really want everybody to be able, I say everybody a lot, I want to be able to show that in people's branding. So whether you're hiring me for a complete branding or even just a consultation, I like affordable options. I do some consulting because not everybody can pay a lot of money to have branding, but that doesn't mean you should have bad stuff. So I like to give practical advice for cheap too.
That's great. You're good. No, that's great.
Okay.
Where are you based out of?
I am in Column Bay, which is the almost very tip of Washington, Western Washington.
Okay, neat.
So middle of nowhere. Well,
Yeah.
end of nowhere.
That's great. So tell me how you got involved with your brand designing in general and how you decided to niche down to your client base.
It was really an accident. In high school, I told everybody I wanted to be a pastry chef because in middle school, I kind of wanted to be, but really I had no idea what I was going to do with my life.
Sure.
But I've always been crafty and artsy. And I don't even remember how, but I was just Googling online jobs that I could do remotely because I had a lot of social anxiety and I was like, I don't want to interact with anybody. So somehow I ended up on graphic design and I put all of my savings into a course, which was on Skillshare by Lindsay Marsh, best beginner course I can recommend. And she also has a Facebook community, which is mainly freelancers. And so I really didn't want to work for myself because that really freaked me out a lot. But the more I got involved in the community and everything, I was like, okay, this is it. I fell in love with branding because I love to learn about things and people. I love to learn people's stories. And I think being able to turn graphics into that was really fascinating to me.
That's great. So what are some things that you do as a business owner to show up for yourself and for your business every day?
I think, so I want to say it's every day, but this is probably the biggest thing I do somewhat often is looking back on and reflecting on your goals and why I'm actually doing this, because being a business owner can be super overwhelming. There's a lot of things that you're I don't know what the heck I'm doing, but being able to look and okay, this is my definition of success. This is what I want to be doing. And this is how I'm going to get there. It allows me to just go, okay, I can do this.
Sure. How long have you been doing brand design?
For what year is it? I think 2 years.
Okay.
I graduated in 2020 and it's been after that. So it's been 2 years.
Okay, great. That's great. So talk about how you as a brand designer find and connect with your ideal client. What does that look like?
Mainly it's Instagram because I love the platform. I have fun with reels, although I go through phases, but there's a lot of new business owners on Instagram, so I like to be able to give free advice and chat there. But it's also a lot of local, especially I have another business I just started, so I vend with that business because it's retail, and I really like to meet people at the markets and things I go to because those are definitely my ideal client. I like to go for younger business owners because I am younger and I can relate to them better.
Sure.
So it's also easier to talk to them. So a lot of markets I see have those people, and I'm like, all right. So I always bring some business cards and just chat. I think local and like in person is the best because it's a lot easier to connect with people in person.
That's great. We have like a local farmers market where I live, and I get such stage fright in person. It's so funny. I go and I'm like,
Yeah.
hey, like, I guess I'm just gonna buy something today, and then I freeze and that's it.
Yeah, I so if I actually start a conversation, I can like carry it, and I love talking to people. But like I said, I still have a lot of social anxiety. So sometimes I look and I'm like, okay, no,
Yeah,
we're just gonna sit
today.
at my table and not talk to anyone.
Yeah, no, I get that for sure. So you like working with new business owners. What kind of advice would you give a new entrepreneur if you had the chance?
I think find a community. I know when I started, I had the major mindset that I can just like Google everything. It's like, yeah, Google's great, but it's really not. I think being able to find a space, mine was on Facebook, like I said, that graphic design group, being able to like ask and talk to people who've been there and made the mistakes and like can give like good advice that's you don't even know you need or you need to ask the question to is really important. And Google's not going to give you that.
Sure. Yeah, Google is good for some things, but not for all things.
Yeah.
That's great. Do you know of any like designer, graphic designer, brand design stereotypes of your work or your business that you could break down and tell the truth about instead?
I think one of the ones that I am always like, oh, is that graphic design and brand design is just art. Like it's just pretty and cool. But I'm like, if your logo is made just because you think it looks cool, it's a bad logo.
Mm-hmm.
Like the main purpose of branding and graphic design is to communicate. So there has to be something behind it. It has to be telling your audience why you're unique, why they should buy from you, what you do. And if it's just pretty, it's not doing that.
Mm-hmm. No, I totally agree. And there's a lot of people who think that something that's more complex is a logo also, and really those are designs, those are pieces of art,
Yeah.
those are complementary things that you can use with your logo and can use with your brand. But it's really interesting to try to find what your actual logo is, or find people that really truly understand how to use it the best way. That's something
Yeah.
that I've found a lot. Well,
Definitely.
great. Is there anything that we didn't touch on that you would want our listeners to know about you or your business?
Um, I just want to remind everyone who's listening that you really are unique. I think I kind of touched on this, but would like to reiterate. I think everybody has such cool stories, and that is, like I said, the biggest reason I love brand design. I love to talk to people. I love to get to know them. And even when I started, like I was like, I don't know, I'm not unique. I just like to design things. But your perspective is so cool. So I think really diving into a conversation or even just reflecting on yourself and trying to figure out like what makes you or unique. This sounds kind of cheesy, but it's so true. It's really going to help you in the long run, like figure out your unique selling point and why people should buy from you.
I think that's awesome advice. I think that's great. Where would our listeners be able to find you online?
I am on Instagram at RaineeGrace_design, and then my website is raineegrace.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate your time today.
Yeah, it was fun experience for my first podcast.
Yay. One in the books.
Yeah. That's okay. Let me add on to that new advice to entrepreneurs. Always say yes. Like it can be so terrifying, but always say yes to things. Like I like a podcast. Like why not? Get out there, have fun with it.
Heck yeah. No, that's great.
Thanks for listening to the No Mercy Business Coaching and Consulting Podcast with Emily A. Woodruff. We specialize in branding and design for women, by women.